Yo, what is up guys, Delboy here, aka Blue Collar Sports TV. Hopefully you guys are doing well. If you're new here, smash that like, hit subscribe, all of that good stuff. So following Tyson Fury's defeat to Alexander Usyk, there have been many conversations in regards to Tyson Fury's future, what went wrong, how does he come back, etc, etc. But for me, one of the most interesting conversations has been the involvement of John Fury during fight week on the lead up to the fight with Alexander Usyk and in the fight itself. Quite frankly, I've got to the point, and I got to this point many years ago. I'm kind of sick and tired of John Fury. Aside from drumming up cheap interest from the lowest common denominator, because ultimately only the lowest common denominator would be impressed or entertained with John Fury. Aside from attaining cheap attention, I have no idea what John Fury offers to Tyson Fury, especially on fight week. To me, he brings the team, Tyson Fury's team, into disrepute. We saw what he did leading up to the Alexander Usyk fight, making an absolute fool of himself by headbutting some guy who was, 5'6", probably 150 pounds soaking wet. Despite headbutting that guy and essentially sucker punching that guy, John Fury still came up worse, by the way, making an absolute fool of himself. His conduct leading up to this fight was terrible. But more importantly, his conduct in the corner during Tyson Fury's fight with Alexander Usyk was terrible. At the end of the day, when I was watching that fight, Fury, to me, his corner had too many voices in it. And listen, maybe for some fighters that could work, everybody's different, but ultimately, Tyson Fury is a guy, I know his fanboys like to make him out to be a guy who can walk on water and feed for 5,000, etc. But Tyson Fury's a guy who is emotionally, in my opinion, immature. I think that's fair to say. He seems quite an impulsive guy. And for me, he seems to be the type of fighter, the type of person who needs one clear leading voice, and that's it. Any more becomes a nuisance, becomes distracting, and it may not be conducive of Tyson Fury fighting to the best of his ability. I say this because Tyson Fury himself in the post-fight press conference made a couple of references to where he was blaming his corner for not letting him know that he was losing the fight. And basically he was saying if he realised that, he would have done something different. You look at the corner on fight night, Andy Lee leaning over the ropes. You had Sugar Hill, the lead trainer, delivering instructions. And you had John Fury bellowing absolute nonsense. You had all of these separate voices, and what I noticed was that the instructions they weren't in sync, they weren't together, they weren't related, kind of thing. And for a guy like Tyson Fury, who emotionally isn't exactly the most well put together, I don't think that input is necessarily helpful, especially when it comes to a crisis situation, which Tyson Fury found himself in round 9, going back to his corner. Sugar Hill gave him good advice. Stop pulling back with your hands down. You know, Usyk's coming over the top with the overhand left. Sugar Hill told him to stop pulling back. That was why he was getting caught with the overhand so much. Pulling back in a straight line, hands down. Fury was getting caught with that shot over and over and over and over. Sugar Hill tried to warn him. He tried to deliver the instructions to stop doing that. But then you had John Fury, you had Andy Lee also chiming in, also while Sugar Hill was talking. As far as I'm concerned, when the lead trainer is talking, everybody else mutes. But you know, it almost seemed like John Fury made a point of trying to bellow over Sugar Hill. Like he wanted to get his word in, and he was deliberately trying to undermine Sugar Hill. I've had the suspicion for a long time that John Fury wants to be Tyson's trainer, and he acted like it on fight night. He certainly acted like it. You know, deliberately undermining the head coach, shouting over him, you know, delivering instructions that were contradictory to what Sugar Hill was saying. Not only that, not only is Tyson Fury not exactly emotionally mature, neither is John. So when John sees his son in a moment of crisis, he's not exactly going to be the most rational. And that came across in the last quarter of this fight. You know, John was panicked. That infuses panic into Tyson. He's his father, right? I felt John Fury's presence in the corner was absolutely atrocious. To the point where now, Tyson Fury has to make a decision. Do you want this guy to be your trainer? Or is it time to put him on the back burner? Tyson Fury needs to make that decision. If Tyson Fury keeps things the way they are, Sugar Hill has to ask the question, do I want to be a part of this anymore? Yeah, there's a lot of money involved, but surely pride comes in the way at some point. I'd have been furious if I was Sugar Hill, with what went on Fight Night. Sugar Hill has delivered some good moments for Tyson Fury. He's been instrumental in certain Tyson Fury wins. And I felt the instructions he was delivering were pretty spot on, I would say. They were pretty spot on. I think Sugar Hill, I've always been impressed with Sugar Hill with his corner advice. But I don't think Tyson Fury was able to take it on board during this fight. I really don't. Because of the likes of John Fury and to a lesser extent Andy Lee. Andy Lee's another one, by the way. When he first was in Tyson Fury's corner or in his training camp kind of thing, he was a little more subdued on fight week. A little more behind the scenes kind of thing. Just part of a team. That sort of thing. But I've noticed, as he's had more fights with Andy Lee in his team, Andy Lee is getting closer and closer and closer to, like, becoming a real pivotal figure in Tyson Fury's training team. Is Andy Lee vying to coach Tyson Fury? I feel like there's a lot of vultures circling around. You know, John Fury's not said nice things about Sugar Hill in the past, and I wonder whether the vultures are kind of circling to try and train Tyson full time. I think Sugar Hill is the right man for Tyson Fury at this point in his career, but he's got to be able to work. He's got to be able to work. He's got to be able to take leadership and take ownership of that corner. That never happened on Saturday night, quite frankly. Sugar Hill also needs to ask himself the question, do I want to be a part of this? It's becoming a little bit too hectic. Because I think he is a good trainer, personally. I think he is. I've always been impressed with the way he speaks in the corner. Very concise, straight to the point, doesn't over-elaborate, doesn't overcomplicate. I think Sugar Hill on Fight Night is a good head trainer. I really do. And I don't think Tyson Fury is necessarily utilising him right now to his full ability. I think there certainly has to be some sort of change in Tyson Fury's training setup. For me, make Sugar Hill the number one, undisputed lead man. And then go from there. But yeah, I was kind of... listen, I've always been put off by John Fury, but the way he's been trying to hog... Well, he tried to hog limelight all fight week and during the fight. He should take a step back, put his son's best interests at heart, and go from there. Quite frankly, I don't think John Fury should be anywhere near a fight week. I'll be honest. I don't think he should. But there we go, that's my opinion. Anyway, share your thoughts below. It's been your guy Delboy. Peace.